Hello, my gorgeous Aquarian friends. I am so intrigued and curious about what is going to come up in our reading today. I have to tell you, I am doing your reading very last. And whenever I get to the last sign, whoever I'm doing, I've just gotten into this really into the mode. I'm like feeling it all. I'm super sensitive. And it's always interesting to see what Aquarians have on the map for the month. And this is such a dynamic April. It is full of different energies and different ways of working with existing, just as we do. And this is a time of deep healing, but it's also a time of great ingenuity, creative thinking, new ways of thinking. I think especially for Aquarians, it's Aries season at the beginning of the month. The first about 3 weeks of the month, we're going to be working with Aries energy, which is great for you when it comes to brainstorming, coming up with new, interesting ideas, what they call the far transfer, where you have like this random thing over here and this random thing over here, and you figure out how, and suddenly you put two ideas together and it creates this new thing. The Aries energy is really going to be amplifying that. But we also have Mars moving through your sign and Saturn moving through your sign. They will actually go conjunct near the beginning of the month. And this is really interesting for me. And this is where some of my feeling about the month started to come up, because with Mars and Saturn there at the beginning of the month, the question came up for me, for Aquarians, how do you discipline yourself? Because this is a complicated topic, I think. There is discipline that's really good, like showing up every day to do that journaling or that art, or to really dedicating yourself to something, even on a day where maybe you're a little tired, you still show up and you try, right? There's that kind of discipline. But I think discipline is often in our culture is kind of taught as this very punishing, heavy influence. It's that inner critic voice that's constantly, we're not doing enough, we're not being enough, or we're missing something. And so the question comes up for me with Mars and Saturn doing work with you this month. What does discipline look and feel like to you? And how are you disciplining yourself? And do you need to be disciplining yourself where you're disciplining yourself? And are you disciplining certain parts of yourself that you just don't need to? I find that a lot of us, not everybody, but a lot of us in the world, we are disciplining, our inner goofball, or our inner sensitive that needs to rest, or our inner worrier, in an attempt to try and just push through life and just go for it. And this is causing us a lot of pain and using a lot of energy we don't need to be using up, and disciplining these parts of ourselves that are so natural and so innate. And so this is a great time to kind of witness and notice where maybe you are putting pressure and discipline on parts of yourself that you don't need to discipline. I know Aquarians are known for being your wacky, goofy selves and sharing your amazing, different perspective with the world, which, oh my gosh, I love you. I love you. You inspire me to no end. I just have to tell you, you inspire me so much. But I do feel like even though you Aquarians traditionally are known for being the playful goofballs of the zodiac, right? I feel like there still can be sometimes judgment for parts of yourself that you feel like are even too weird for the world, or that maybe you were told were weird when you were a kid, and there's always been some internalized shame around that. And I think we can often turn our discipline towards those parts of ourselves that we really feel cannot be a part of the conversation. And this is a month of great healing when it comes to that. Ace of Wands, baby. I love it. Not to mention, Mars will move on to Pisces after it's done working with you. It's going to move into Pisces, and it's going to be following in the footsteps of Venus, who is also in Pisces. And this is important for Aquarians because this is second house energy. And for me, this is the energy of self-love, self-compassion, self-worth. And it's a very strong theme in the month of April that we work with this, that we build compassion. 7 of Swords, which I have deemed the imposter syndrome card. So we will get into that very shortly here. This is a really important month for getting in touch with our spirits, healing, and finding that self-compassion so that it spills out into the rest of the world. And that is just a huge key component of this month. As we move later in the month, we're going to get into Taurus season and eclipse season. Queen of Pentacles. Yes, I love Queen of Pentacles. And Taurus season for you is going to be about how you feel safe and secure inside, in your sacred home, when you come home to yourself, and how you self-mother and nurture. There's also going to be the beginning of eclipse season with a new moon and solar eclipse in Taurus. Once again, reflecting on how you self-mother. And this is so important. This is such an important big topic. Both, King of Pentacles. Okay. Yeah, we've got the inner parenting. It's a theme. It's a theme, my Aquarian friends. Okay, I'm going to pull one final card from my Animal Totem Tarot. See what wants to join us here today. 4 of Cups, the octopus. Oh, I love it. Love it so much. Did any of you watch My Octopus Teacher? Probably a lot of you did. I feel like everybody did. It was such a beautiful documentary about an amazing little octopus. Okay. So let's get into it, my friends. Let's get into it here. Okay. So we start off the month immediately. Opportunity. Open door. Something sparking to life, an idea, a connection, a romance, just something being lit up. And there's that Aries energy that works so well with Aquarian energy. And there's also Mars working with you as well. You know, Mars is determined and clear and forward focused and about moving through life. So you have a lot of this supportive energy that's like, yeah, let's do that idea. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. Let's share that aspect of ourselves. Let's do it. You know, because that's Ace of Wands. It's that springing to life of something that almost seemingly out of nowhere has begun. And it's very exciting. But it's so interesting for me because immediately, 7 of Swords, which, like I said, I have nicknamed the imposter syndrome card. This card, you know, represents a person who is disarming the enemy in a sneaky way, right? Stealing the weapons undercover and sneaking away. And of course, traditionally, it'd be like, oh, can you trust people? Are they sneaking around stealing your swords? But to me, this is all about self-trust. This is all about the way that we talk about ourselves. And when the 7 of Swords shows up, this is about that part of ourselves that says, you're a fake. You're a fraud. You don't know what you're doing. You made a big mistake. You're not allowed to be this. Did people see your like hidden weirdo too much? Did you embarrass yourself too much? You know, whatever. We all have our own stories. It's going to sound a little different for everybody. That voice that says, no, you should have stayed safe. You should have done things differently. And this voice does come up when we've done something vulnerable, when we've opened up a new chapter, when we are doing things outside of the familiar. And Aquarius, you are a fixed sign. So while you are willing to go and explore and experiment, you also have your familiar things that you want to have as an anchor and a consistency for you. So it can be scary still to step outside of the familiar, even when you are an adventurer. And that's exactly what I see here. And that's what I'm talking about with the self-discipline. We often use our self-discipline on parts of ourselves that don't necessarily need it. We don't need to shame and discipline our inner goofball, our inner child that's a little bit like awkward and weird, our part of ourselves that just wants to rest and needs quiet time. Like, we don't need to do that. And that voice, it's important to witness it and then counter it and say, hey, no, I know what I'm doing. I know who I am. And that's where Queen of Pentacles and King of Pentacles comes in. And here's where I think Taurus season is kind of coming into play here a little bit. So these two rulers are very grounded, obviously. They're earth sign energies. And they are all about taking a moment to look around and play the long game and anchor in. And the really what I see here, this is inner parenting. This is the inner parent that says, we're going to take care of you. We're always going to listen to your dreams and your goals. We're going to help you figure out how to practically do that. We're going to figure out what the next right step is, and we're going to do that. And we are going to follow through on things that really matter to us, but we're also going to pay attention when we're tired and when we need to recharge and when we need to set a boundary. And we're never going to force things. We're never going to force you to be something that doesn't feel true to you. We're never going to force you to produce just to produce. We're never going to force you to take actions just to keep the peace or just to make things more comfortable for everybody else. We're always going to listen in. We're always going to support you. That's the inner parent. That's the inner voice, the inner dialogue that we really want to build up. And I think it's not so much discipline as it is consistency, a consistent voice of compassion and drive and vision that isn't so much concerned with avoiding embarrassment and social castigation as is interested in building into something really deep and pouring from a very, very deep well. And that's where I want to see Aquarian energy going at this time, because I don't know, I just feel like, Aquarians, you all have really high standards for yourselves specifically, for how you want to share your unique vision, how you want to move through the world. I think that's beautiful. But I want you to feel like safe with yourself and safe to explore and play. The other thing I want to say about King and Queen of Pentacles coming up here is that these are also about the practical accoutrement of accoutrements. I don't know how to say French words in English. It's so weird. This is also about the practical things you can do in your home environment, in your day-to-day, that can help your physical body anchor in and feel safe and comforted and supported. So there's also an emphasis here this month on you kind of just think about what would help you feel that, what would help you feel really safe in your body, really relaxed, really nourished, really nurtured, really able to then get out there and go for stuff. This is a really, really great time to explore that and just think about it and workshop that a little bit. And maybe, just take a really honest look around and notice if there are any things that you want to change or shift about your physical routine or your physical environment. Let's get into the Four of Cups. The octopus, I love it. Okay, so in traditional tarot, the Four of Cups is about a culmination. Fours are always about you're in the beginning stages of creating something and you've just made it to a nice moment where you can appreciate what you've just built or created or explored. And the Four of Cups is this really beautiful sense of celebration, union, commingling. I want to actually read the inscription from the book for this deck from it because it's so beautiful. The octopus. Here is the message that goes with it. Treasure? What treasure? That which you call treasure is just junk in my mind. My world is littered with things that sparkle and shine. But in all honesty, how many shiny things can one actually have? What I'm looking for has to be more, do more, and truly move me. Otherwise, it is just another distraction and something else to take up my very limited time. Because it's true, octopi only live for a year or something. They have a really quick lifespan and are so brilliant and intelligent. And I just love that. Like, what is something that you treasure, right? Like, I like how this card speaks to how we all have our own version of what we think of as really beautiful and meaningful, and how it just does not follow the script of like, this is what we should value. Like, on the cultural level, there's this really weird list of things that are supposed to be like attractive and beautiful and meaningful. And for you, it's about you deciding what that is, right? Once again, where are you putting your self-discipline, and also how are you honoring what you think of as a beautiful life? What you think of as meaningful and empowering. And I want to hear about that. That's the kind of stuff I would love to hear about from the Aquarian perspective and would value so much. So yeah, I really love this month. It's definitely about keeping a calm nervous system, finding environments, physical environments that really support you, and also being bold enough to share more tender parts of yourself in the way that feels right for you and in the modality that feels right for you. That's going to look different for every single one of you, of course. I would love to see you over on Patreon. That's where I dive deep every single week. We do a big overview of the week and the astrology and the energy. We also activate all the moons, and we just go deeper on topics like the upcoming Pluto retrograde and the upcoming Mercury retrograde. So I'd love to see you there if you're looking for a little more support. You can also find me on my Instagram. There's only one true me, so I'll leave the correct handle so you don't follow any of the dupes out there. You can also find me on my website, my email if you want to connect. And I would love it. I would be so appreciative if you would like and comment and subscribe and hang out. I love having you here with me. It means so, so much. I'd love to keep doing this work, and it just helps me to be here. If you add that little bit of a voice to the process, it really helps me out. And I know it's tedious to hear people say that, but it's just... It's true. It's just the world we live in. So I love you all so much, my Aquarian friends. I will see you very soon. Have a gorgeous April, and take really, really good care of your precious hearts, your precious spirits. We need you here. I need you here. So please be your beautiful, shiny selves, and I will talk to you very, very soon.